Let's start with the first topic. Best Marvel show. So, of the and we also included the special presentations in this because they're kind of hour-long.
The nominees.
Things are.
Well, basically, the ones that came out this year.
Yes, drum roll,
The
please.
full length.
Drum roll, please, Tyler. No, you got to do over. Come over here. The nominees for Best Marvel Show.
Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac.
And Oscar Isaac.
Miss Marvel, starring Iman Vellani.
Okay.
She-Hulk, starring Tatiana Maslany.
And Charlie Cox one episode, but made it seem like there was going to be more of him in there, but it wasn't. But that's totally fine because the show was fine without it.
Werewolf by Night, starring Swamp Thing. Man Thing. The Guardians of Galaxy Holiday Special, starring Kevin Bacon.
Guardians with Christmas and bacon. All right, so
I know what mine is, hands down.
I can already tell you I feel a lot better now after I've watched that filth of the Rippaverse off of
we
me.
just like had just a good old
So
that was like taking a shit after a really bad Taco Bell.
Like I kind of want to break down how we felt about all of them and why we might pick whichever one's our favorite. So Moon Knight, we've talked about on this show. We talked about all of these shows frequently here, so we won't like reiterate things we've already said. But you and I both have said we were very, and you can kind of see the trajectory on the pod. We were very high on it in the beginning, and then it kind of tapered off.
To be honest, I think up until the last episode, I was like really high on it.
Yeah,
and then the way it ended was like, what?
Because episode 5 was so fucking good and grounded and character driven that I wanted another episode or two before we got to the giant kaiju fight. And it just felt so rushed at the end. And I felt like that show could have had maybe one or two more episodes.
Right.
And there are some things that I just, and like when I screamed about it on the show when they cut away from him beating those guys up, I'm like, it's the fucking finale. Show us the money shot.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So Miss Marvel, another show that I think we probably had the same feelings about, right? I mean, you still liked it a lot, right?
I liked it a lot because, again, and I talked about it earlier this summer, it snuck up on me somehow, and so I really didn't have a chance to build up any expectations. I don't really know the character from the comics, but I liked it a lot, and I think I liked it so much more because it snuck up on me. I think if I had a chance to build up expectations, I might have been disappointed in it.
Yeah.
But again, I really have no frame of reference for this character.
I also don't like how they released it. I think what they should have. I think they realized that mistake later with She-Hulk, but they should have put it out on a Thursday instead of putting it out the same time as Kenobi, especially when Kenobi is coming towards the finale and everything.
Right, they figured that out. Yeah,
but that's again a show, and there's just some moments of that show that I think that they made.
It's always so shocking. It happens.
They
all the time.
they made so many changes that I thought were unnecessary. In terms of why I don't know why they made her powers constructs, and then they made her a mutant, so they don't have to, like, what are we doing?
To be really honest, my favorite part of the show was how they showed a historical event that most Americans probably don't know about, and really delved into that. And then they also, I really liked the performance of the actress. She was really good.
Yes, I think that's why I liked the show as much as I did, is because she is. You really want to root for her. So
yeah, so I think, and then just being able to see a different culture, and I liked the music really kicked ass. There was a lot of music that I probably never would have heard.
With
from like the Middle East or from Africa and whatnot, and from East or from the Indian continent, like rappers and stuff. Like that was really cool. So it wasn't my favorite of the year, but it was up there.
She-Hulk. We talked about She-Hulk a lot on the show.
I think that was my favorite.
Well, okay, we'll get to our favorites afterwards.
Oh, we gotta wait.
No, well, if this is your if this is your favorite, go ahead.
We should read them all up and then. Okay.
Well, I really really like She-Hulk. I know a lot of people didn't like the finale because I can understand this narratively. It doesn't feel like a really satisfying ending in a sense, but I also appreciate it because it's so She-Hulk. We've talked about on the show, there's been issues of comic books where she's walked across panels. She went into Burns' office and like screamed at. So like this is pretty
it's
on
very
brand for the
on
character,
brand,
and
absolutely.
I liked it a lot. It was great seeing Charlie Cox being.
I loved how they
Not-
trolled
not-
the trolls before they even knew it.
Yeah, they wrote this movie or they wrote this show 3 years ago, and it's still relevant today.
Charlie Cox is great.
Charlie, dude, not only as Daredevil, but seeing him as Matt Murdock again, it'd just be so charming. And like, I really like him and Tatiana Maslany's chemistry.
Listen,
but I
if
but
I
I really
found
like
myself on a date with Charlie Cox playing Matt Murdock at some point, I wouldn't really have to think that hard about
So-
going home.
it. So here's the thing:
Going home with him, you know.
we can talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
I'm saying he's hot.
Will you listen to me? No, I'm just gonna move past it. We can talk about Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, but I'm gonna be honest. If She-Hulk is your favorite, I'm gonna tell you Werewolf by Night is my favorite.
Okay,
So we can just talk
that
about.
one's right up there too.
So just tell me why She-Hulk is your best Marvel show in the second annual. Oh, potties.
I think just again, it was so insightful about itself. It knew exactly what kind of show it was so much that it literally predicted the trolls. Again, it was written 3 years ago, and they just spot on did everything just note for note, and they fucking ate every bit of it, and it was great. I'm a huge fan of the character. The seminal run by Byrne back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, even though Byrne has kind of turned into a shithead, is one of he's the one who kind of broke that ground with the fourth wall breaking character. Not Deadpool. It was She-Hulk first. And I always loved that. That was my favorite part about that comic book. And if you know anything about comic books, and her comic book especially, everything in the show was completely on brand, and she's really good. Like, she's really good in that character. You know what I mean? And I love how they played with the story that how do you reconcile the fact that you've lived all your life as you, and now, and you don't really necessarily get that much attention from the opposite sex. Now you can turn into a version of yourself that is like super
She said that in
hot.
the episode, yeah.
I loved how they went through that
Sexy
storyline.
and athletic
Absolutely,
girl in high
yeah.
school, yeah.
And of course the ending, how they kind of skewered it, and like, you know, with the Feige bot and whatnot. When she went into the studios and everything, like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the character so much, and I thought they pulled it off. I thought it was the most comic accurate MCU property I've seen, to be really truly honest.
Yeah, one of, yeah. As much as
They all pretty much are, but they have to tweak certain things. And this one they stayed, I think, pretty true.
I think
Plus, Mr. Immortal showed up, dude. Great
That's-
Lakes Avengers, dude.
I want that so bad.
Oh, we want to write it, Kevin.
All right, so the next
Wait, is that from Home Alone? Kevin.
what you want?
Right.
I got to put that up.
You saw that commercial?
No, I got to put that up, that
Oh.
clip of when Luke was here, because that fucking Folgers tangent, oh my God. What is this incestuous Folgers at? Great up, last up, check it out.
When he said Home Alone 2, are you out of your fucking mind?
Oh, yeah.
Home Alone 2.
So, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, we talked about that. I thought it was a fun little detour, and clearly some levity for what's going to be a very emotional Guardians 3.
I was I thought it did what it needed to do, and that's
You were
about it.
hot on it, man. You're still mad about it.
I just didn't really care for it. It didn't really do anything
Yeah.
for me. And honestly, I don't want to. Kevin Bacon, you're an actor. I don't want to hear you sing.
So, Werewolf by Night is my best Marvel show, even though you could argue it's a special presentation, whatever.
What was the name? Gail Garcia Bernal
I don't fucking know.
is the name of the Werewolf by Night guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
What the fuck is?
Why are you
wrong
looking
with
at me like I'm going to look it up? It's not like I got a laptop right in
Come
front
on,
of me,
man.
dude.
Come on.
No, this was my favorite because it's so different. It's so, if you did not see the Marvel Studios,
It's probably tied for second with me with
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. A little above Miss Marvel, just because it was so unexpected.
but if you didn't have a Marvel Studios logo at the beginning, you would not know this is a Marvel property. And I like that because we haven't had something like that in quite a while.
That's a good point. I never thought about that way because I'm so immersed in the comics.
But I love that they like, I never would have thought that we would see a Werewolf by Night show, movie,
it was
whatever.
well done, dude.
And it's so good, and it's so sticking to the idea of like we're gonna go, and they stuck to the idea of the comic of being these old horror comics, these old Universal movie monster movies, and like his whole transformation being in the shadows is very much with how they tried to do things technologically at that time to make, and like to see them harken back to that and the black and white, and that's, I guarantee that's how they got away with the violence. It's because it's. Yeah,
it was great.
But like this, when he finally turns and kills everybody, because you know what's gonna happen. You're sitting there for that 54 minutes. You're like, the werewolf is gonna show up. It's Werewolf by Night. Come on,
that's the name of the goddamn thing.
But then also to introduce
Werewolf by Night. Of course, it's gonna show up.
Jesus,
sorry,
it's too loud, Regis.
Sorry, man. Sorry, buddy.
I'm gonna pop your mic.
I just licked the microphone.
Damn it, man! I just farted on that microphone. Now you got the pink eye.
Pink tongue. What's going on?
But the fact that they introduced Man-Thing to a mainstream audience and it was well received and people liked it and it was a fucking practical suit. Holy shit. Like there's just so many things I loved about Werewolf by Night, and I hope that this is a sign of the future. And however you might have felt about the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy, I've said that when we talked about it, I want more special presentations. I want more shit like this. We can have those 6-episode stories, but I like these self-contained ones.
Me too.
Because they're a one-shot, and those are always fun. Tyler says says She-Hulk.
Miss She-Hulk.
Miss She-Hulk says She-Hulk.
She's a girl.
I say Werewolf by Night.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.